My beloved soul, today I want you to sense the presence that welcomes every doubt, every fear, and every hope you hold. I see you. I observe the smile you offer the world, the competence with which you navigate your days, the strength that has become your signature. But I, who dwell in the silence of your being, see what lies behind the curtain. I see the silent rain that falls perpetually in the fields of your spirit. I see the internal tears, the tears no one witnesses, which, even you at times, refuse to acknowledge. These are the tears of unprocessed disappointment, of a dream that faded, of a harsh word spoken that still echoes. They are the tears of solitude that visits you even when surrounded by people, the exhaustion of being tough for so long, of that old wound you learned to manage but never truly healed. You have become an expert at building dikes, managing this inner deluge so it won't spill over and ruin your everything's fine presentation. You fear that if you let a single tear slip, the entire dam will burst. And so, you exist with this burden of unshed water in your soul, a weight that leaves you depleted, dulls your joy, and prevents you from breathing with the fullness for which I designed you. Today, I am here to tell you, with the tenderest and most unwavering truth, I saw every drop. I know the source of each one, and I have not arrived to open the floodgates and let you drown. What I will show you next can redefine your course because I have come with my own hands, with the gentleness of a loving father, to wipe away your internal tears, one by one. I am, at this very instant, beginning a drainage project in your spirit, drying up the swamps of sorrow so a new garden can bloom. Before we continue, state this word of belief in the comments. God renews my hopes and dreams daily. Now this is your first act of agreement, your permission for my comforting hands to commence their work. Now continue breathing deeply. Your deepest healing isn't in your ability to stop crying. It is in your willingness to let me dry your tears. My daughter, pay close attention now, because for the healing to be genuine, you must comprehend why those tears became a hidden river. Why didn't you allow yourself to weep them? At some point on your path, you learned the dangerous lesson that your openness was a liability. Perhaps in childhood your tears were met with impatience, correction, or the anxiety of an adult who didn't know how to manage your pain. And you, with your childlike wisdom, learned to swallow them, to be the good, strong child who doesn't cause trouble. And you were praised for it, reinforcing the belief that strength was your ticket to affection and acceptance. Or perhaps it happened later, in a relationship where your sensitivity was mocked, where your open heart was trampled, and you made a silent vow never again to give anyone the power to inflict such affliction. You built a fortress around your heart, and the tears became prisoners inside your walls. You learned to associate weeping with weakness, powerlessness, defeat, and you, a warrior, couldn't afford to be frail. You became the rock, the support, the problem solver, and rocks don't cry. Your internal tears are the cry of your authentic spirit, of the sensitive girl and tender heart that were exiled so the tough woman could rule. But strength that has no room for tenderness is fragile, brittle strength. Strength that cannot permit itself to weep is strength perpetually close to collapse. I allowed you to reach this point of exhaustion, this point where the dikes are about to fail, not to watch you break, but to finally convince you that your current strategy is unsustainable. There is an essential thing you must grasp before proceeding. Your vulnerability is not your adversary. It is your access point to true strength, which is my strength. It is where your humanity meets my divinity. Now, before we advance, post this in the comments. I place my trust in the Lord. By doing so, you strengthen your belief and share encouragement with others needing to sense my presence to call out. It is your declaration that you are prepared to start dismantling the barriers and rely on my companionship. If this message resonated, please support this work by clicking thanks and help circulate words of guidance, encouragement, and inspiration to many lives. It is safe to weep in my embrace. It always has been. My precious soul. And how does my process of drying your internal tears unfold? It is not an act of erasing your memory. It is an act of redeeming it. The first thing I do is enter the location of each injury with the light of my truth. I illuminate the scene of your pain, not to make you relive the trauma, but so you can see it, for the first time, through my eyes. I show you your innocence. I show you that the rejection you experienced was not due to you, but due to the brokenness of the other person. I show you that your failure was not a measure of your worth, but a vital lesson on your route. My light separates your identity from the event. You are not what happened to you. Next, I bring my presence, which is the warmth that melts the ice of pain frozen in your system. You may sense a surge of emotion surfacing as you read this. Allow it. Do not fight it. Those are the frozen tears finally finding a safe path out. Every tear you release now is a toxin leaving your system. It is cleansing, a purification. I am here, holding your heart as it thaws. And then, with the injury cleansed by truth and warmed by love, I apply my balm. The balm is my perspective of redemption. I start showing you how I utilized that pain for your benefit, how that betrayal taught you discernment, how that loss developed steel-like resilience in you. I show you that your hurt was not wasted. It was an essential ingredient in the recipe for the wise and powerful woman you are becoming. What I will reveal next can transform your life. I am not just drying your tears. I am transforming their source. The well of sorrow in your spirit is being converted by me into a spring of insight, compassion, and power. I, your God, am sending you a specific indicator. The sign you anticipate rests in this scripture, Psalm 30:11, which states, "You have turned my mourning into dancing. You have taken off my sackcloth and clothed me with joy." Post in the comments, "I receive this message and am blessed," and send warmth and protection to someone you care for, proclaiming that God is turning their lament into a dance. If this message resonated, show your backing with a thanks and help circulate this message of light. Before we proceed, let me guide you to something I prepared to further strengthen your belief. If you feel a need for inner healing, spiritual reconnection, purpose, and success aligned with my heart, a 31-day experience awaits you. Each day was designed for me to communicate more deeply with you. If you wish to pursue this route, the link is in the description and the first pinned comment. Now, let's continue. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so now to keep receiving messages of light. Prepare to dance. My blessed soul, your cooperation with me in this healing process is essential. As I apply the balm of redemption, I call you to use the tool of acceptance. The lack of acceptance is what keeps your injuries inflamed, preventing my healing from being complete. Acceptance is your act of removing the soiled bandages so the fresh air of my grace can touch the wound. You must accept those who caused your tears. I know your pain feels justified in its anger, but resentment is a poison you drink hoping the other person will die. It only keeps you chained to the past, reliving the hurt daily. Acceptance does not mean forgetting. It does not mean saying what they did was right. It is simply your act of cutting the chain. It is you saying, "I will no longer permit their action to define my inner peace. I surrender you and your debt into the hands of the only just judge, who is my Father, and I choose to be free." And the deepest acceptance, often the hardest, is what you need to offer yourself. You blame yourself for being open. You are embarrassed by your suffering. You criticize yourself for not getting over it sooner. My child, you are judging yourself with a severity I would never use on you. You are human, and human hearts were made to feel. Your capacity to be hurt is the same capacity that allows you to love deeply. Do not curse your sensitivity. It is a gift. Embrace the woman you were in her pain. Be compassionate toward her. Honor her path. And accept yourself for not being a superhero. I never asked you to be one. I only asked you to be mine, and you are. Post in the comments a list of people, including yourself, whom you wish to accept. Picture each one, send them warmth and say, "I accept you and set you free." May peace be with you. Feel the lightness and liberty acceptance brings. Repeat this practice daily to build inner calm and release anxiety. Every act of acceptance is you allowing me to dry another layer of tears, clearing your vision so you can begin to see the new landscape of joy I am preparing for you. My precious soul, as your internal tears dry, a new space is created in your spirit. And I never leave a space vacant. I fill it. Where there was once the stream of your silent sorrow, I am now causing the river of my peace to run. It is a peace that does not depend on external circumstances. It is a calm that wells up from within, from the certainty that you are loved, forgiven, and secure in me. This calm will become your new atmosphere. Life's minor irritations will no longer hold the same sway over you. The major storms will still arrive, but they won't shake you the same way, because you will be anchored in the rock of my serenity. Where there was the sodden ground of self-pity, I am planting the garden of delight. Not the shallow happiness that relies on events, but a resilient joy that coexists with life's reality. It is the joy of knowing you are cared for. It is the joy of finding beauty in small details. It is the joy that comes from a heart no longer weighted down by unprocessed mourning. You will find yourself laughing more freely. You will feel a lightness in your steps you haven't felt in years. And where there was the emptiness of loss, I am constructing the palace of my presence. You will discover that your greatest need was not for that thing or that person you lost, but for me. And the closeness we build in this new space will be more satisfying than anything the world can offer you. You will no longer feel isolated even when alone, because my company fills every corner of your being. There is something deep I want you to grasp. Your healing is not a return to who you were before the injury. That would be too small a miracle. Your healing is an elevation. You are becoming a version of yourself that is more peaceful, more joyful, and more intimately connected to me than ever before. You are not just being fixed, you are being enhanced. My daughter, this heart that is no longer burdened by internal tears is a heart set free to fulfill its purpose in a new and mighty way. Your past pain was not a detour. It was your training. Your greatest affliction is becoming your greatest anointing. Because you knew the language of silent weeping, you will become a translator of hope for others who are crying inside. You will develop a spiritual radar for hidden pain. You will look at the strong person and perceive their fragility. You will hear beyond the surface words and listen to the soul's outcry. And you will possess an authority to speak to those hearts that no one else will have. Your own story of recovery will be your credentials. You won't offer theories, but a living testimony. You can say, I know what it's like to live with a river of sorrow inside, but I also know the God who can dry those waters and transform them into a spring of joy. Your testimony will be the key that can unlock the emotional prison of others. What the adversary meant for your isolation, I am turning into your greatest tool for connection. You will become a wounded healer, an expert in bringing the hidden to light, not with judgment, but with a compassion born of experience. Your life will become a safe place for broken hearts. People will be drawn to you, not for your flawlessness, but for your authenticity, for your ability to be real about pain and radiant about redemption. Embrace this calling. Your greatest contribution to the world will not come from your strengths, but from your redeemed marks. Share this video with 2 dear people who need this message of hope and faith. Let's build a chain of mutual support and affection. Post a comment with a prayer of faith and hope. A simple, Lord, use my healing to bring healing to others, is your acceptance of this sacred commission. My precious soul, how do you live from this new place of emotional freedom? Your path, starting today, is to become a guardian of your own tranquility. This requires new habits. The first is the practice of continuous emotional honesty. You no longer need to stockpile your tears. When a feeling of sadness or frustration arrives, do not ignore it. Do not judge it. Simply acknowledge it to me immediately in prayer. Say, Father, I feel this. Help me process it. Your immediate openness with me prevents emotions from accumulating and becoming a new burden. The second practice is intentionally choosing joy. Joy in my kingdom is not a passive feeling. It is an active choice. It is a discipline. It is choosing to focus on what is good, what is true, what is lovely. It is choosing gratitude over complaint. It is purposefully filling your mind and your day with things that uplift your spirit. Your joy is a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. The third practice is cultivating my presence. The peace and delight I give you are not a gas tank you fill once. They are a river that requires a continuous source. Your daily communion with me, your time in my word, your moments of devotion are what keep the spring flowing. Prioritize your connection with me above all else. It is not a luxury, it is your lifeline. What I want you to grasp is that your freedom is not a one-day achievement, but a daily walk. It is a series of small decisions, the choice to be truthful, the choice to be thankful, the choice to connect. And with each choice, you grow stronger, freer, more like the radiant, peaceful woman I created you to be. My beloved soul, we have reached the end of our conversation, and the work of drying your internal tears has begun. The truth has been spoken, acceptance has been granted, and the river of my peace has started to run. You are no longer the same woman who began reading these words. Your inner landscape has been altered forever. The places of flooding are drying up, and the fertile ground of your spirit is now ready for a new planting. I call you to leave this meeting and live as the masterpiece you are. When you look in the mirror, stop searching for faults. Look for the gold seams. When you recall your past, stop reliving the pain, celebrate the renewal. And when you encounter another broken heart, do not pull away in fear. Approach with the empathy of one who knows the path to healing. Your life, from this day forward, is a walking declaration. A declaration that no heart is too shattered for my love to restore. A declaration that the greatest hurts can become the greatest callings. And a declaration that the beauty born from ashes is the most resilient and radiant of all. Go now, and let your light shine. The light that shines not despite your cracks, but precisely through them. And know that your heart, now safe in my hands, will never again be beyond repair. It can only be expanded, deepened, and adorned with more of my redeeming gold. If this message connected with you and your circumstances, write in the comments. My tears have been transformed into joy by the Lord. Your words strengthen your belief and also light the way for others who need this illumination. Share your reflections below. And before we conclude, I need to guide you to something I prepared especially for you. I have seen your quest for inner healing, spiritual reconnection, new purpose, and prosperity originating from my hands. None of this is accidental. When your spirit calls out, I open paths. Therefore, through this channel, I have placed before you a guided 31-day experience, a process where daily I can speak more deeply to your spirit. This is not just a guide, it is a route to restoration, alignment, and growth, created to strengthen your belief, renew your hope, and open possibilities you couldn't have imagined. If you feel this call, access the link I placed in the description and the first pinned comment on this video. Begin this course of healing, reconnection, purpose, and prosperity today. I will be with you on every page, directing your steps and lighting your way. If this message touched your heart, like this video and subscribe to keep receiving my word. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next video.